Welcome, Saybrook University students. Welcome to HM6028, the capstone course experience. Of course, you know me, Dr. Gooden, also known as Dr. D. I see some very familiar faces in this course. And so I want to start by congratulating you on all of your success getting through a various rigorous MBA program. And now here you are at the end of the program in your capstone course. You have literally come a long way, baby, if you will. I'm so happy and proud of each and every one of you and of your accomplishments. And what reward do you get? Well, you get to get Dr. D just one more time before the end of your program. Uh, but we'll work together in this course to make sure that you're getting all the support that you need in order to successfully transition from your didactic courses into your capstone courses and then ultimately the eyes on the prize, which is to graduate and to be conferred your MBA. So congratulations. This is actually a 7-week course, so a lot shorter than, let's say, a PhD course or something like that. But it is the kind of standard 7-week course, not as rigorous as the earlier MBA courses, which were 3-unit courses. This is a 1-unit course, so it's really just about synthesizing and integrating these ideas kind of into this process here, ongoing process that you have participated in the capstone process. So, in this course, it just really is an opportunity for graduate students in the MBA program to integrate tools and concepts into a central transformation community of business leaders. You'll have an opportunity to identify strategic issues in a variety of functional areas. You'll have an opportunity to select the appropriate tools and concepts from the core curriculum and then apply those to the effective design of community and organizational change. You're going to be presented with some strategy based problems. You're going to be tasked with designing a series of humanistic solutions and clear executable plans that align with the work setting and the strategy. And then the learning activities also include discussion based case studies and a professional portfolio development. It is 1 unit, so it isn't as rigorous, let's say, as a 3-unit course, for example. And we'll have an opportunity right off the bat to get together on July 4th, where we will have our first of many webinars here. And actually, I think we're scheduled for weekly webinars. And so we'll have our first one on Tuesday, July 4th at 4 o'clock p.m. I realize that some of you may be on holiday during that time, and that's absolutely fine. I will record the webinar, and you'll have an opportunity to listen to that at a later time if you're not able to attend in person. But during that live session, we'll look at organizations with impact. We'll also look at setting the assumptions for your business during that time. I'm just kind of moving on through the modules here. In week 1, you will have a business narrative plan where you're pretty much going to review your capstone business plan and you're going to update it with any current thinking. And you'll be also submitting it again at the end of the term. So this is going to be an ongoing process here with bringing that business plan forward from your capstone B course into your capstone C course. And you'll have an opportunity to even perfect that more throughout this semester. In week two, you'll have an opportunity to really good reading here, reimagining the balanced scorecard for the ESG era. We will also connect on the live session. Looks like I need to change the date there. So that date on that one will actually be July 11th. And you'll notice here a recurring theme that all of our meetings will be on Tuesday and they will be from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Of course, they will be recorded. So in the event that you can't make it, uh, you can listen to the recording. And in the live session on Tuesday, July 11th, we'll have an opportunity to build out a dashboard of metrics. And I know that many of you, and of course, you're already professionals working within the industry and you're very familiar with dashboards. So let's see if we can kind of put a modern twist or a modern spin on the dashboard. Perhaps it may be a little aggressive to think about how we can incorporate AI or machine learning. But let's think about it. How can we improve on the dashboard that's really been around for 20 years now? That's probably pretty helpful. But in the age of advanced technology that we find ourselves in, is there a way we can make that better? Well, we'll have an opportunity to explore that more in the week two module. Still in week two here on your discussion posting, you're going to talk about what your key performance indicators are and what your biggest impacts and how you will measure them. That will be in your discussion posting. Your initial posting will be due Wednesday at 11:59, and then your response to classmates will be due Sunday at 11:59. Both of those times are Pacific Standard Time. On your initial post, that needs to be somewhere between 150 and 200 words. You do want to have support from credible or scholarly references. And then in your reply to your classmates, no expectation on the word count or supporting your response with evidence. However, you do want to give yourself enough time to respond and have a meaningful dialogue with your classmates. So please don't wait till the last minute to participate in the discussion board postings. And then finally, in week two, you'll have an opportunity to submit a draft of your dashboard. And you can upload that in Microsoft Excel. And you're going to receive a feedback and a score on this assignment, but it will not count towards your final grade. Only the final submission will count towards your final grade. Hope that made sense. And in week three, you'll notice the cadence for the course is pretty much the same here. You'll have readings, you'll have a discussion board, and you may or may not have an assignment. In this case, in week three, really couple of really good articles: how to make a pro forma income statement for a startup, and then the second one, how to calculate your business startup costs before your launch. So, really entrepreneurial focus there, which makes sense in an MBA course. And we will meet on Tuesday, July 18th from 4 to 5 p.m. and we'll talk about strategies on how you can use Excel to create a comprehensive pro forma. That should be a lot of fun. For your discussion board posting, you'll answer the prompts, how do your financial projections look? And then how soon will you reach your break even point? And no assignment in week 3. So as we kind of move into week 4, your required reading, how do entrepreneurs obtain financing? And you'll leave an evaluation of available options and how they fit into the current entrepreneurial ecosystem. And then there's a really cool resource from the US Small Business Administration, Fund Your Business, and that's from the SBA. Think you'll find that very helpful. By the way, if you haven't noticed, there's a link at the bottom of each of these essays that will allow you to keep an ongoing annotated bibliography. So if you find that helpful, I would say definitely use that. Some of you may have other tools that you use to keep track of your sources, but very helpful link there. We'll connect again on Tuesday, July 25th from 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific. And during that meeting, we'll discuss determining your financial needs and testing your assumptions. For the discussion board posting in week 4, you will be discussing what will be your primary source for funding and how much will you be seeking. And the rules of engagement are the same for all the discussion board postings. Should be between your initial posting should be between 150 and 200 words. They need to be meaningful and thoughtful with support from credible and scholarly references. And then your response to classmates must be no later than Sunday, but remember, give yourself an opportunity to post early and often so you can have a meaningful dialogue with your colleagues. And in week 4, we revisit that performer draft. So you'll submit the draft again in Excel, and the feedback and the score again will not count towards your final grade. The only thing that counts towards your final grade will be that final submission. And that'll be another opportunity here in week 4 for you to get some additional feedback on your performer. As we move into week 5, when we look at the required reading, really good article by Harvard Business Publishing, Why Startups Fail. And it's an 11 pager, so that's going to be some pretty good reading. And then The Soul of a Startup. So, two very good, relevant articles. For our live session discussion, that again will happen on Tuesday, August 1st from 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific. We will discuss developing the rollout plan. Your discussion board posting in week 5. What are the critical steps in launching the plan and how fast can you roll it out? And you will submit a draft of your rollout plan. But again, the feedback and the score will not count towards your final grade, but it is an opportunity for you to get some feedback and prepare these documents for final submission in week 7. But before we get there, there is week 6. where there's a really good article. The article is a little dated. It's back from 2014, but we feel it's still very relevant. And it's entrepreneurship reading, developing business plans, and pitching opportunities. It's a whopping 45 pages long. And we'll talk about preparing your pitch in our live session on Tuesday, August 8th from 4 to 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific. And then finally, in week 7 here, your article reading will be retaining growth during the live session. I don't have a date for that live session here. So would that be the 15th? Okay, well, just kind of take a look at that. I'm showing that that's the 15th, but we'll continue to check in with each other just to make sure. And that's going to be from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific. And that will be your opportunity to do your student presentations. And I certainly will look forward to that. And so finally here, on your due date during the final 2 terms of the capstone, you'll build a defensible first draft business plan for new enterprises, new products, or a new initiative within an existing enterprise that addresses a systematic problem or solves a social or environmental issue. It could be an outgrowth of explorations conducted by the PBOS or Capstone A, or an area of personal interest to you. Whatever the inspiration, our hope is that you come up with a creative business idea that helps move a system towards a more sustainable state. So the assignment is designed to achieve 2 things. First, we want to take you through the creation of a business draft plan and follow the acceptable business plan templates. We think this process will include a thorough strategy when it comes to finance, the triple bottom line, and also planning and running a business or the implementation of significant change initiatives in an existing organization. And then number 2, it gives you the opportunity to think creatively about how you can contribute to a sustainable world. The deliverables will be in 3 phases. The first phase will be the business plan. Most of that was completed in Capstone B, so you're just moving it over to Capstone C and perfecting it. Then you'll have the numbers and then the pitch. So your 3 deliverables will be the plan, the number, and the pitch. The business plan can be included from Capstone B, but won't be counted towards your grade. However, you can reference it. The narrative portion of the business plan will be made up of these components delivered during Capstone B. So it's okay for you to resubmit that part of the project with your numbers section. Then there's the business model, a la the business mode in Canvas, and then the external environmental analysis. And then you're going to conclude your position on the competitive analysis of your business and how you can differentiate yourself in the marketplace. So there's an implementation roadmap that includes a marketing plan that describes the key resources and activity of your operations and includes a schedule or roadmap for rolling out these business ideas. And then finally, there's the risk assessment where you're going to identify limiting factors and obstacles to your business plan. You're going to run a best, worst, and anticipated scenario based on the possible risk or obstacles in your plan. And then finally, discuss the specific countermeasures to your identified risk as a quantitative as possible. And then finally, in Capstone C, it's going to culminate with an opportunity for you to pitch your business plan to your peers. That will take place in the very last live session. And this is expected to be a high impact presentation that will include a compelling opening, a strong logical flow, crisp slides with minimal text, and a confident, well rehearsed delivery. Your presentation should include an introduction and designed to acquaint us with your business, including a discussion of the purpose and how it addresses important needs or important systematic issues. You're going to walk through the key parts of your business model. You're going to present a dashboard of TBL metrics that will be used to manage your business. You're going to provide an overview of financials, including a presentation of the numbers. And that should be a detailed discussion of your financial model and projections, and one or more graphical representation of those numbers to make them come alive. You're going to provide a brief summary of whether your proposed business is viable and recommendations for additional data needed to validate the model and the approach. You're going to provide a description of the sources of funding, including how to determine business evaluation. And then finally, a discussion of the perceived risk of the business success and how these might be mitigated. So I think here that what we're kind of coming to the conclusion here is that all of the feedback that you're going to get throughout the course, you'll get points, you'll get feedback, but none of that's going to count towards your final score, your final class grade. However, your final submission that should incorporate all of that feedback will then be reflected in your final score or your final grade. In other words, I'm saying all of that to say that those last submissions there in week 7 need to be your absolute best submissions, and your submissions that will include the feedback from your peers and the feedback from your instructor. There's also a career planning and personal reflection that will be due in Module 7 as well. So you're going to look at things like what's your purpose, what skills and knowledges or experience do you possess to support your pursuit of your purpose, what skills, knowledge, and experience do you want to add to your portfolio to support your purpose, and you're going to talk generally about what your vision for fulfilling your purpose, what you hope to be doing 5 years from now, and what would the ideal life look like for you? Are there ways, and in what ways is that different from the life that you're living now? What are your what are you inspired to do in the coming years that will move you towards the vision of fulfilling or at least partially fulfilling it? what resources or context will be most useful to you. And finally, how does the capstone project relate to your purpose and goals? How might you leverage it to support your career vision? And then again, your another submission here in week 7 is that annotated bibliography. So for this class, students are expected to record a bibli well, I cannot speak today, a bibliography entry along with notes from each source you used as part of the competitive analysis and funding research. And in APA is the preferred annotation. You want to create an entry for each reference using the tabs. You can, and I would suggest that you use those tabs right at the bottom of the each module, but for some of you, you may have another way to keep track of that information. And if you do, that's perfectly fine. But I want to just reiterate there that as you go through the modules, just certainly click on the link there at the bottom and keep your annotations current week by week. That way you don't have to uh, try to figure that all out in week 7 when you still have 2 or 3 additional deliverables that you have in week 7. Okay, well, I think that's enough of an overview for the course. I look forward to connecting with you in person in our weekly live sessions on Tuesday. I also look to read your discussion board postings and also provide you feedback on the weekly deliverables.